Sweet. Right, welcome back to the latest episode of the Divine Divide podcast.
Hey, how are we, guys? Nice to see everyone again. Fourth week, fourth episode. You know what I mean? Not too bad, not too bad.
Popping off. We had a tiny bit of a... we weren't able to record yesterday, were we? But
yeah.
other than that...
A mishap.
So?
We had a little bit of a mishap, yeah, last time.
Yeah.
And now we got the boy who caused the mishap.
It was Reggie's fault.
I caused the mishap.
No, it was me. We got the boy Reggie Egan back on.
Hello.
Don't need surname, like, but okay.
Just full name of you know what I mean?
James Jr. Egan, actually.
What's your sort code on your postcode and on your email?
UA7. National insurance.
Do you no way you actually know this off the top of your head?
I don't.
I was going to say.
Oh, well.
I get a message going, can we talk about your family?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Reggie, we know that basically.
Oh, just starting with my family, okay.
I mean, that starts to get it kick-started, you know what I mean?
Alright.
Being a resident orphan. What?
I'm not.
Right.
Right, no, because you didn't grow up with your parents, did you?
No.
It was your whole life that you've grown up with your grandparents?
My friend was wondering if you guys are like famous people.
Yeah.
We're really famous, yeah.
We're like, we've got like our own podcast and we've got a couple subscribers and stuff, you know what I mean? So.
No.
No.
Me neither.
I mean.
Why? Oh, you're famous. Thank you.
Yeah.
Famous. Famous.
Who's the most famous out of all of us?
Like, we get put on as the billboards.
Yeah, we're doing a podcast right now. So.
The Divine Divide podcast, search it up if you want.
Yeah.
The Divine Divide.
So we pick up like a topic and then you can talk with us about it if you want. No.
These are children, by the way.
See you in a bit, boys.
Right then.
Wow. Cheers, bud.
Anyway, Reggie, back to the... Okay, anyway.
Hey, he looks cold with that.
So you didn't grow up without any parents?
Well, I grew up with a mum,
Yeah.
but I never grew up living with my mum.
Oh, okay.
Was she like in your life or was she?
My mum's always been in my life.
Right, okay.
But you haven't lived with her?
No.
So what's that been like for you then? Like, do you not have that role model of like
Well,
mother or father, what's it?
in my opinion, it's because my mum's fairly young. She and I only have, a 17-year age gap.
Yeah.
So, when we talk about my grandparents, they also had her fairly young, which means a lot of people's actual parents are a similar age to my grandparents, which I grew up with a very similar set of ideals.
Right, okay, yeah.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm.
So why did your mum not raise you?
So,
Do you know?
my mum,
Sorry, deep question off of that.
my mum had me very young,
Yeah.
and obviously she also had her own whatever's going on at that time. When you have someone young, you also not got your own life figured out.
Mm.
And my dad had PTSD. He was in the army. So my dad, bad end. Just saying.
Fair enough.
Sorry. Sorry. But my mum thought it would be better to hand me off to my nan while she, gets what she needs, the help she needs, medication, whatever. And then by the time she's old enough, she can look after me.
Mm. So what did she need the medication for? Was it just like...
I'm pretty sure she has BPD.
Right, okay.
Bipolar disorder?
Borderline personality disorder.
Oh, borderline personality disorder.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect you then, would you say? Like, do you think, is it genetic, is it? Or?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think it depends on the factors when you're in the womb and also how you're raised.
Yeah.
So I was raised in a pretty safe household.
Yeah, pretty nice.
I'm pretty lucky with financials and stuff like that. So I wasn't really raised in a place where I had to worry, where maybe my brain's a bit different. I have ADHD, but that's it.
Yeah.
Fair enough then, yeah.
Do you think that put you at an advantage or disadvantage? Do you reckon?
I think I wouldn't say it put me at a disadvantage, just because how similar my grandparents' age is to people's parents.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd be an advantage.
How old are your grandparents?
My grandparents, one of them's 61 and 64.
Okay, so they're not much. Like my parents, 51.
Exactly, it's like a 10-year difference.
Yeah. So it's
We're
not.
not
like,
too old then, are we?
Yeah.
No. It's not the same as like your grandparents.
My grandparents like 75, 80 now almost. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also with because you believe in God, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So what do you think your grandparents, living with your grandparents, has influenced you in a way to...
It's actually my mum who believes in God.
Okay, so your grandparents don't believe in God?
So my grandparents don't believe in God.
Oh, okay.
My mum, throughout my life, my mum's always messaged me goodnight, saw me, sent me letters, sent me little things, obviously, trying to be the best mum she could without being there. And I don't know, she just always strengthened my faith in God. Like, always giving me someone to look up to that's safe and, like, not having a father figure, actually having God.
Hey, Reg, did your mum ever who introduced you? Was it your mum, or did it just come round naturally?
To God?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I went to a Catholic school, primary school,
Yeah.
St Edward's, just in the old town. And it wasn't really introduced to me, I kind of just was taught it. And then I remember hearing my mum always talk about it, my mum saying some prayers, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And then, obviously, as I've grown older, it's kind of stayed in my life. And I went to St Chad's, which is also another Catholic school.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning about God, hearing about God, and I'm then starting to pray myself. And then I'm starting to, receive things that I'm praying for, or hearing things that are making me believe in God.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're getting signs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because for me it was quite different. I obviously learnt in that primary and that about RE and stuff like that. But all of that was just at the time it was fairy tale. And
Same.
yeah. And no one in my family really believed in God, so mine just came round naturally and that.
So no one in your family believe in God at all?
The ones that probably do or did, probably all dead. But there's no one in my family right now that believes in God, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, my auntie my auntie Claire, I think, is the only person in my family who believes in God. But
What, Joe?
no, well, my mum, don't know, my mum is kind of on in the middle bit.
Well, do you guys think more women believe in God than men?
I
think more men would believe in God.
My friends asking if you guys are D. Alice.
Who?
D. Alice.
D. Alice. Who's D. Alice?
I'm not.
I'm not. I know that for sure.
I'm not the
Okay,
Alice.
thank you.
You're welcome.
No problem. Who's D. Alice, bro? Yeah, my mum.
These guys really want to be on camera.
They do really want to be in it. They're just freaking in the background. But yeah, my mum never. She went to Sunday school and stuff, but she never taught me anything about the Bible at all really. Obviously I went to Vicky Road Primary School, so we had we had a. Do you guys have it in primary school where you had a prayer every Friday or something before assembly or
we
something?
prayed every
We did
day.
have that, didn't we?
We
Every
prayed
day.
We used to
before
say a
dinner.
creed in the assembly.
We prayed in the morning. And
Yeah, I
we
did.
prayed before
Yeah.
dinner.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Dang, that's cool.
I
don't know
remember
if
some
you-
of the press.
I don't know if you've just seen, but apparently in all the American schools they got rid of prayer. And then Donald Trump just came in the office the other day and he was like, I'm going to bring prayer back to school.
Trump again.
And then
Another Trump
there's
episode.
another Trump episode in it. But yeah, I find it interesting all the different ways you can come to see God, because a lot of people would say Reggie's obviously not having your dad present and then having your mum who wasn't raising you is unfairness
Yeah.
from God.
Injustice.
Injustice. Yeah, but I don't think do you think that it is, or what do you think?
I mean, this came up when we were in Bible study.
Mm.
We all have free will.
Yeah.
And my mum had the free will to have me at such a young age.
Yep.
And she didn't abort me, thankfully. But also she had that free will to also say, I need to take a second for myself to give him a better life.
Yeah.
Which made sense. And I wouldn't say it's unjust. I mean, we're all on the earth to do whatever we want, but we're told that we should try our best to follow Jesus' footsteps, stuff like that. But I wouldn't say it's unjust. I've got better GCSE scores than people who live with their parents. I've got I've got more
Well-
money
well
than some
better than
people who
mine.
live with their parents, and I'm not trying to say that in a I'm richer than you. I'm not.
Yeah.
I come from a normal family. But I don't think it's unjust.
Mm.
I think I've still got a mum and dad. I still have a dad who tries to reach out to me. I still have a mum who I've literally just left to come to the podcast. So,
So you think your mum was doing what she thought was best for you at the time?
I think she did what was best.
She did what was best, yeah.
I think if I grew up with my mum, it would have in a way, sabotaged the both of us.
Yeah.
Because doesn't play it. That's true.
So do you think that, obviously, we were on about abortion like a couple of weeks ago, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that people who don't have the financial aid to support a kid should
So I think,
get rid of the child? Because obviously your mum was in the same position.
yeah. So I think financial aid is definitely a big, like, part of abortion. I did mention last time, which got scrapped because of the mics. I think there's 3 or 4 reasons where abortion should be allowed, similar to rape, incest, and life of the mother,
Okay.
which are the 3 exceptions in America. I also think finances should be involved. I don't think that should be allowed with abortions, though. I think you should go through with the baby, and the baby can always be given up for adoption.
Yeah.
In a similar way, I was lended off to my grandparents.
When did
Yeah, I
like
mean,
alone?
kind of, because I was meant to go back when she got her medication and whatever. I was meant to go and live with my mum. But then I was given the option, and I thought, I've lived with my nan now for a good 8-9 years.
Mm.
There's no point in me going back.
Do you think your nan and granddad became your mum and dad?
Well, my granddad always calls me his son,
There you go.
so. But that's not my mum's mum and dad. That's my dad's.
Okay.
So.
So you're raised by your dad's parents?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm a
wait.
better son to them than their own son.
So
So
you don't
what-
see your dad?
That's straight. So, what do your grandparents think of your dad then? Like, if your grandparents are your dad's parents?
Well,
Like-
I mean, my nan, Tracy, okay, she isn't my dad's mum.
What?
But then my granddad, Steve, is my dad's dad. So
Oh, so
he
it's
has a
sort of like
different mum.
Oh,
Like a
I get it.
step-grandma.
Yeah, but
Step-grandma.
also, she's always been my nan.
Yeah.
Ever since I was born, she's been my nan. So I can't really go now and say she's not. Because in my mind, you know, physically, she's just my nan.
Mm.
In my mind, biologically, she's my nan, even though she's not. She
So,
is.
have you ever met your biological nan?
Yeah.
Yeah, is she nice?
Her
Like,
name's Linda.
Linda. For me.
What do you think of it?
She's lovely.
Fair enough.
Nan Linda.
So, your dad was sort of just like.
The-
Because, like, they all seem lovely.
They are. My family really is. It's, I think, obviously the effects of coming from the army, and then like my dad's into bodyguarding right now.
Yeah.
I know that.
Mm.
There's like photos of him with Stormzy and stuff like that, bodyguarding. And he came back to Runcorn a couple of weeks ago. He tried asking me to come to the gym with him and stuff. And I don't know, it's like, imagine meeting someone new and having no connection with them who's also like 15 years older or something. Like
What,
20
just
years
trying
older
to-
than
But would
you.
you never try,
Make it
like,
work.
to get that connection with him, or would you just.
Too late, I
like,
think. I
think
think
it's
there
too
can't
late?
be a connection there.
Do you think it's like, I feel like it's never too late, it's your family member. I feel like if you can forgive him.
It's not
and,
about
you know,
forgiving. I mean, like, this is deep now. He'll come back and he's fairly narcissistic
Yeah.
in a way that he comes back thinking he can just buy me, he can just have me, and then also he can like disregard any of my other family members, take me away from them, which isn't fair. They've sat there and had to raise me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then
that's
he
not
thinks
fair.
he can just, you know, go, oh yeah, I'm back now. I'm taking him. Let's go somewhere.
It reminds me of there's a parable that Jesus taught. You onto it, the parable of the prodigal son. Basically, where, but you remind me of the dad, and he reminds me of the son. So it's where one of his sons basically like deserts him, goes and like badmouths him, and then basically goes and sleeps around, comes back. Obviously, I'm not saying your dad's doing all that.
No, you're just kind of
But-
linking them.
And then he comes back, and the father like I don't know, embraces him and loves him again. And no matter what he's done, he doesn't like shame him for it essentially.
Yeah.
And then the other brother,
Love
like
them
the other,
unconditionally.
yeah, the other son who's been sat there his entire life, basically gets annoyed because like
Yeah,
this son
like
has
my
deserted
family who
him.
have raised me.
Yeah. So like, yeah, because the son comes back, and even though the other son who's been completely good all his entire life and does all his like dad's will,
Yeah.
he's like, why am I like left? Like why is he getting celebrated when he's left you and like
Yeah.
deserted you almost? But you, like, if you were to go about like repairing your relationship with your dad, how do you think you'd do it?
I think I'd just start by being around the family more. You know, having dinner, come around, having food, watching football. What a family should be doing. Not coming around and bombarding me with gifts and then saying let's go to Arsenal and watch them in the Emirates. Like no, let's go home and watch Sky Sports and see Arsenal play.
What, chill like a dad.
Let's
dad
sit on the
sounds
couch.
fair.
Yeah.
Let's give me a bottle of Coke.
Why
and
don't you
another beer.
suggest that to him then? Why don't you say like I want this?
I don't want this.
You don't want to
I
do
don't
that
want
with-
that, no.
No.
I've never grew up with a father figure. I mean, like, in one of my households now, I'm the man of the house.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest man I always have been in that house. And, I believe that the man should be the provider. And if the man has deserted you and left you, I don't think he can come back and then try be the provider. I think at
I
that
get
point,
what you mean.
you've
yeah.
grown your own set of beliefs that you, yourself as a man, need to take care of yourself now. I don't really need a father, in my opinion. At
Don't
this
need a
age
father.
now, I don't need a dad.
Yeah.
But is it the fact that do you think not needing him eliminates the need of have a relationship with your dad? Like because
What do you mean? Could you rephrase?
you
I'm getting
like
a coat.
go ahead. You like don't necessarily need your dad, obviously because you're a grown man now essentially. But just because you don't need him, does that mean that you should not necessarily want a relationship with the guy? Get me?
Wanting a relationship with him, sure, but it's like you don't seek relationship with people you don't know. Like I don't.
You can do. I think you could.
I don't go to the gym and seek relationship with the random men in there that are also 20, 25 years older than me. You know what I mean?
There's a difference though, because he's your dad.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with you guys,
He is.
what you guys know as a dad is the dad that you have been grown up with. You've been raised with that man who in your mind is your dad. I was raised with my granddad, who in my mind is my dad. And I was never raised with a man. My father. A father? I wasn't raised with one of them.
Do you think he's more similar to like an uncle then? Or do you just think he's like completely
See, my
detached?
uncles I'm very close with.
Yeah.
I'd prefer going out with my uncles than my dad.
Very strange
Like,
situation, that, to be fair.
I'd like, there's been times where me and my friend Charlie, not you, Charlie Firm,
Yeah.
we were sat on a bench just from the city. We just got our Mackies. And then we're sat on the bench. My dad's back in Runcorn. Dad doesn't recognise me. He walks past me, goes right past his son, doesn't recognise me. I didn't recognise him either. He messaged me going, heard a kid say your name earlier today. Wondering if it was you. I said, did you walk past me at a bench? He said, yeah. And that's kind of crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
Like, that shows you that he's a complete stranger.
Mm.
It's not
Wow.
someone I know. It's not someone like, he walks past me and I feel like he's my dad. It's just a geezer. A bloke.
That's great. That's a strange relationship with your father, isn't it? Like, you don't have a relationship with him.
Exactly,
sort of,
that's
do
the point. There is no relationship
There
there,
is no-
so
There's no connection at all because you've not spent any time with him over the
exactly.
life. Yeah, I get what you mean now.
He's just your biological dad, which
I mean, even
It's
throughout
like-
growing up, I've been told I don't. I know I look a bit like my dad sometimes, or I'll have mannerisms that are like my dad or my father. But I've always been told I'm so similar to my mum,
Yeah.
which is weird. Like, how can you be so similar to one parent and not the other? No matter what in
Because you grew up with
biology,
your
you
mum.
should be 50-50.
Yeah, but surely less people know your dad. Or maybe not.
To be fair, there's a good few people that do know my dad,
Yeah.
because obviously he grew up in Runcorn,
Right, okay.
so a lot of parents and stuff will know who my dad is.
What, and you hear the last name like Egan, I'm guessing it's the same.
Dad's name's Kay.
Okay.
Yeah, Egan's still London's name.
Yeah, so it's sort of like what do you call it? Like a
This coat's so
sperm
big.
donor sperm donor sort of thing. So like, your dad could be a sperm donor, and then you'd never. No, sorry. Wait,
No.
it's like an analogy. No, because you'd never know who your dad is. That sort of thing. Your dad would be a complete stranger to you.
I do get
No,
why
but
you-
I've met my dad.
people-
I knew my dad up until I was like 4 or 5, and then also when I was like 7, he'd come back, and then when I was 9, he'd come back, and then when I was 12, he'd go. Every now and then he'll come back for like a week or 2, and then he'll understand that his son doesn't really want to see him.
Mm.
And he,
But do you not think that you could? So you know how you have friends that you don't see very often,
yeah,
and when you do see them,
yeah,
It's sick,
it's
innit?
sick.
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you not think you could have that? Obviously, because your dad isn't. I don't think. Maybe he won't be back in Runcorn. He's like visiting you. It sounds like every 2 years or something.
Well, he's in like Manchester now.
Yeah. Do you not think it could be that type of relationship where you don't see each other often, but when you do, like you spend good time with each other, or does your dad just want to like
Well, I mean, I remember
buy you back almost?
in like when I was like 12 or 13 in high school, he tried taking me to the gym, the Active Nation, for the first time, and I remember going there, and he's like trying to talk to his son, but it just felt like I was talking to a PT. You know what I mean? It was like, oh yeah, you bench more than all my mates. Oh, nice one. I'm 13. I don't bench more than all his mates. He's just lying to his son.
So he's trying to gas you up to
He's
like.
trying to gas his son up, but it's not gonna work. I'm not stupid.
I see. He's trying to form a connection which isn't there.
But
Exactly.
Yeah.
do you like respect your dad for trying, or do you think he should try differently, or do you think he should just not try at all? He's
The
passed?
thing is like he's very mean to people in my family that are close to me, like my mum and stuff like that. He's very mean to them. And you know, when let's say the person you care about most in life is like your mum or someone, because that's the person who will always unconditionally love you.
Yeah.
No matter what, no matter if you became a weed smoking addict, no matter if you was a tramp, a bum, your mum will always love you.
Sounds like Reggie this.
No.
No. Like it,
Bum.
Reggie.
But yeah, your mum will always love you.
Yeah.
Like no matter what. And when someone hurts your mum, it's in your mind there's something like that's the person you want to protect most as well.
Mm.
Whoever loves you the most is the person you want to protect at the time.
But do you think?
If he hurts my mum, it means that I don't see that respect. How can he hurt that woman?
Yeah. But do you think your dad doesn't love you, or do you think he loves you almost just like not the same as your mum, obviously? But
I know he loves me, but I feel like he loves me as an afterthought, like he needs to. Not like
he loves
wants to.
you because of the responsibility he had a kid, and he should love you.
He loves me because of the normal role that, you know, oh wait, that is my kid. Oh yeah, he's a bit of my
So
sperm.
he's like he sort of needs to love you.
He
because-
feels the need to, I think,
What, to
yeah.
prove himself almost.
Yeah.
and because yeah,
Not
his
to
son-
prove himself, more so to be like, you know, imagine getting told that you ditched your son, then going to have dinner with your dad, and he's the one who's fathering your son.
Mm.
That's actually kind
You must feel like
of like a failure.
like-
almost.
you need to love that kid. You're like, wow, he's still going. You know, let me see if I can make a relationship with, but you can't. But you still
Yeah,
kind of, in
it's
the back
too
of your
far
mind, you're
gone
like,
now.
that is my kid, so I kind of have to love him no matter what.
Yeah.
Mm. So have you never told him like, or messaged him or something saying like, this is too far gone now, I don't feel any sort of like
No.
father-son bond between us, or like, are you just gonna leave him?
No,
Just
like,
gonna, like
I've called him Steve before.
Steve.
Yeah,
So you
not
don't call him,
dad.
you don't call him dad.
Not really. But, you know,
Yeah.
because I've never had the point where I've had to say, oh, Dad, can you go help me with this? When
Yeah.
you guys can shout downstairs and go, oh, Dad, could
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
make me a glass of water, please? I've never, ever, ever had to ask my dad for a glass, ever. Never asked my
'Cause
dad.
He's never been around, has he? So.
Exactly. So, it's like, I've never had to feel the need to reach out to him to be like, yeah, it's too far gone. I think it's just a kind of understood.
Well, I understand, like drifting apart type.
Like, it's same way you know the people that you should be talking to and the people you shouldn't be talking to.
Yeah.
And the same way, you know, like, rules that aren't rules, but you kind of know what you should do and shouldn't do.
Yeah.
The things you should follow. It's kind of the same way. We both kind of know that we're not going to form a relationship. In the back of our minds, it's like, there's no point trying. But, you know, you're still my dad, and I'm still your son.
See what you're saying. Yeah.
Mm.
Does make a lot of sense. There you go.
We're changing topic.
Can be.
If you want,
I don't mind.
That's a nice little conversation, that love. Cheers for that, Reggie. Good
Cheeky
insights,
backstory in it. Got a fat lower drop off there.
Right, Forney, I'm going to throw this one to you. Tell me about Ecclesiastes.
Oh, okay. So I'll just be reading the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible, right? It basically, so there's 3 wisdom books in the Bible. It's Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the book of Job. I'd read Proverbs. Well, actually, all of them are like some of my favourite books. And Ecclesiastes is so weird. It's such a weird book in the Bible. Basically, you know, everyone like basically says, God put you on the earth for a reason. If you believe in God and stuff. It kind of takes the opposite view. So King Solomon, who wrote Proverbs, is on about like if you live a good life of wisdom and seeking wisdom, then you'll live a good life essentially, and you'll always know what to do if you put wisdom first.
Yeah.
And then he writes from the like POV of a critic who's like critiquing his own book, and he basically says all life is meaningless because we're all made from dust and we're going to return to dust. What's the point in even doing anything really? Why don't we just have pleasure because we're all going to go die anyway? Essentially. So it's a really like sad book, And then it goes on to the book of Job, where Job, like, loves his life.
Is that Proverbs? That book
So-
of Ecclesiastes?
Ecclesiastes, so it's the one afterwards. So Proverbs basically how to live a good life through wisdom. Ecclesiastes, wisdom doesn't matter because you're going to die anyway,
Yeah,
essentially.
it's right there.
And then it goes to the book of Job, where Job lives a good life, full of wisdom and stuff. And it gets all taken away from him, and he's doubting why he should be alive. He's like, the day that I was born, like, erase it from the calendar. Why did I even get born, essentially?
Yeah.
And it's all like really like deep stuff, but it applies to, like, when you're suffering and stuff. Like, which like angle do you take? Do you take I deserve this suffering,
Yeah.
or suffering happens to everyone, we're all gonna die anyway? Type
Oh, so it's
nihilism, like
yeah, it's kind of showing accountability for something, or just, you know, giving up.
yeah,
Like being like, yeah, it doesn't matter now anyway.
exactly, yeah, essentially.
I feel like that's the difference between people who believe and don't believe. So people who don't believe would be like, we're all gonna die anyway, you may as well. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And the people who believe would be like, no, we're here for a purpose. We need to like control ourselves and stuff. I feel like that's.
Well, do you not feel like when people say we're all gonna die anyway, you may as well? Do you not mean like, oh, they've sinned once, they don't care now, they may as well sin again? Or is it just like, oh yeah, we live in paradise?
What?
Do people think this is already paradise? They may as well just enjoy it.
Yeah, some people say like life is a gift, you may as well just enjoy it to the best you can, basically. So.
I think the like perspective that Ecclesiastes says is basically like nothing is gonna make you happy, even like it says like pleasure like is all meaningless
Yeah,
essentially.
it says, yeah, it does.
And it says when you follow it, and it goes back to the end of the book, and it like takes a godly twist on it at the end.
Yeah,
So the critic explains the entire story, and then at the end, Solomon, who writes it, basically says, you might as well live a godly life, because then you're gonna like really nicely impact the people around you, and you're gonna live life to the best of its ability, essentially.
yeah. And the first, the subheading of the first book of Ecclesiastes is everything is meaningless. So it just directly correlates to what like a non-believer thinks.
Mm.
And it says how King Solomon, like, didn't he, like, he amassed like lots of silver and lots of gold,
Yeah, he had like
and he said it was all like
1,000
meaningless.
wives as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it
Similar to
concubines?
how
or-
the Muslim belief works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't who was not the Messiah?
Muhammad.
Didn't Muhammad have lots of wives?
He also had a wife who was 6 years old, which is a bit dicey, like. But
Who had a wife who was 6?
Muhammad.
But doesn't Muhammad say at the end or something in the Quran or something about I'm not trying to be controversial here.
Yeah.
Doesn't he say something that crosses his own belief in Allah? I'm
Does
pretty
he?
sure he mentions something that kind of contradicts the faith.
Do you know what it is?
I can't remember.
Because I was actually doing a lot of research into Muhammad the other day, and it's so like weird because the account, I think it's like I can't really remember. It's basically the most famous like record of his life. What's it called? When you die, someone writes something about you. Biography. Yeah, yeah.
Autobiography.
Is what you write. Yeah. So it's the most famous like biography, and it's like one of the recognised writings in Islam, and it basically says Muhammad wifed up a girl who was 6 years old, and then had sex with her at 9,
No, that's mad.
That is.
and that is freaking crazy to me.
to you.
Yeah, no, but to everyone.
Everyone
But what they claim is that Muhammad was like perfect and sinless, essentially.
In the book it says he, in one of the surahs it said he stoned a woman to death for being adulterous or something along the lines of that. Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, not slating other people's beliefs,
Mm.
but you know, kind of look at your prophet.
Yeah, yeah. If you claim him to be perfect, like, essentially look at the stuff that he's done, essentially.
Yeah, just
If you get me.
acknowledge the fruits.
I
of
would
what they
really like
actually
to speak to
produce.
someone who's Muslim
Yeah,
though.
someone
I think
on here
it,
who's a Muslim.
yeah. They'd be
I know,
really interesting
I know
perspective.
some people.
I used to know a Muslim.
I think I've met like I've
He's
had
like
a couple
Muslim
Muslim
for a
mates, but he became a Muslim for a day. he was like, "Nah, I'm giving this all up, bro." Admit it in.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's hard work.
Do you remember when we went to Liverpool? I don't know if you were there. We went to Liverpool one time and we saw
That was me and you, Leon. Yeah.
we saw these Muslims trying to preach something, and they were trying to convince
These
people
Muslims
to become a
sound
Muslim.
so great. At least pronounce it right.
What?
Muslim.
Muslim.
Muslim. Yeah.
Why is it? Does it matter?
Yeah, that's how it's pronounced.
Muslim then. Yeah, these Muslims were like Muslims. I don't even know.
I'm lying.
Yeah, no, I thought he was.
Yeah, these Muslims were like preaching their thing, and they were trying to convince me to believe in Allah. And like, you know, because I told them that I didn't believe in a God, and they said how, because the evidence is in all around us that there's a God and stuff. And then I remember you were debating with one as well.
Yeah. So basically, they were trying to convince us that Jesus was just was a prophet of Allah and not
They're
the
not
Son
trying
of
to tell
God.
you that Jesus was a false prophet.
No, because they actually believe that Jesus was.
Then are they not proper Muslims?
No, this is what Muslims believe, right?
Oh.
That Jesus was sent by Allah, basically faked his crucifixion, and then died, basically.
Just had a normal life.
I think, yeah.
So he didn't perform any miracles, is what they believe.
No, he did perform miracles, but he wasn't the Son of God. And basically what they try and claim is that you should read the Gospels, and it says Allah gave Jesus the Gospels, so Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, essentially.
Yeah.
And the law of what to follow and to preach it. But that he wasn't the Son of God and he didn't die on the cross.
So it tells us to preach the word of God through Jesus.
Yeah, it's really
But
weird. It's like,
Jesus, when he claimed to be God, isn't God somehow. Like, it
yeah,
makes
because
no
if
sense.
you refer back to Muhammad was writing, or Muhammad apparently received the Quran from Allah, right? And then it says not to believe what Jesus said about him being God, but believe the rest of it.
Oh.
And but Jesus himself, 570 years beforehand, said, I and the Father are one, and basically claimed to be God. That's the whole reason he got killed in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they thought he was being a false prophet
Yeah,
and blaspheme.
and blaspheming. Yeah.
Doesn't it also say in the Quran, kill every Christian and Jew on the, was it Eastern Peninsula?
Like
or
the
something?
Arabian Peninsula. I think.
Arabian.
So I don't know.
What's
The
the context
Quran's.
behind that? Do you know?
I don't know. So, but it is a
So
passage in
in
the
the
Quran
Quran. It tells you to kill Christians
and Jews.
and Jews.
We might be taking it out of context a little bit, but from the words that are written, it
Yeah, the
Well,
word somewhere in it says that.
This is
Passage.
kind of crazy, controversial here. Don't you think a lot of? I'm not saying. Nah, I'm not gonna bring that up. That could be crazy.
What?
A lot of
That's a nice clip, isn't it?
attacks that happen on places like the Ariana Grande concert
Yep.
and 9/11. A lot of them were coming from the Muslim faith.
Yep.
And I'm not saying all Muslims are like that, obviously, but if it was telling them to kill Christians and Jews, countries like America and England are primarily known as Christian countries and countries that believe in Jesus and God, and also there's a good percentage of Jewish people in these countries.
Yeah.
And do you not think when they tried to, hurt these people, bomb these people, that they were just following the Quran? Trying
Yeah.
to kill Christians.
People. So there's a weird thing with Islam at the minute. I feel like the internet's kind of screwed them over a little bit because people have got the chance to research it a lot more. But it no matter what people tell you, it's not that peaceful of a religion like they want people to think it is, essentially. There's loads of stuff about stoning, killing
Even kids,
people.
even children.
Yeah, and then a lot of so if you look at Afghanistan, they've just passed a law, which is a Muslim country, passed a law that you can't even speak, if you're a woman, you can't speak in a public area.
Like
So
at all.
even if I was like this, so literally what we're doing now, if I
A
said,
woman
yo
can't do
Reggie, if a woman's found doing that, they get locked up
Wow.
for it. They can't transport themselves anywhere without a man transporting them. So let's say I had a car, I can't drive myself to somewhere. Oh, I have to call my husband to drive them for me.
That's horrible.
And then it said some a crazy law, you can't even look upon another man who you aren't married
See,
to,
the
which
only
is
issue with all this is that I don't kind of want to delve too deep into it because I don't know anything about
yeah, I don't know
Muslim
enough either,
faith,
to be fair.
because we could be taking things completely out of context. And then also I've just said something about how there was a couple Muslim bombers and that isn't all of them. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely
There's
not
only a certain section of Muslims who actually do that.
I wouldn't even say a certain section. It's like the
so minute that it's.
smallest minority of them that it's like a freak occurrence. You don't hear a bombing every week.
Mm.
It's a big thing when it happens, and that's because it happens so not frequently.
Yeah, I mean, I actually respect a lot of Muslims. I think.
It's a devout faith.
Yeah.
You have to really follow it. You have to, put your whole heart into it and whatever, because there's a lot of rules and stipulations, so you have to follow.
Mm. And I respect them for having for believing in God, and also I do think they're very devoted to it. So I do respect them in that manner, and I need to do more research into it, to be honest. But just from surface level stuff that I've learned, I don't know. It just seems it's a bit of a
I'm just going to check the cameras.
weird faith, but probably Christianity seems weird to them as well. So
Well, after this, I want to kind of mention Jesus once he's back.
and you're Bez level crash out.
What?
But I was just gonna mention, before you left, and you decided to leave.
Oh, yeah, just left.
Nah, I'm joking. That in a lot of faiths, not just Christianity, Muslim, and Jews don't believe in Jesus. Isn't that right?
They believe that he existed, and
But did they
they
believe
don't
he was a black
believe
dude?
he's the Messiah.
Okay, yeah. So all of these religions believe Jesus existed.
Mm.
And then there's people who go around telling you that they don't believe in God and that Jesus didn't exist. I can't see that at all as true. Because, there's so many different religions that mention Jesus.
I don't think it's a feasible thing to think. to be
It's
honest.
genuinely impossible for the man not to have existed. And I think if he did exist, the only manner he existed was in our religion.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one that actually makes sense as well, because it's the best documented. It's the best.
It's the most logical answer on.
Exactly.
Well, it's got the
Yeah.
most eyewitnesses.
Exactly.
He's the most researched man of all time.
Is it
so-
not the most believed as well?
Yeah,
Of
most,
the
most
atheism.
believed religion in the world. He's
And
the most
obviously
studied
that
man
doesn't
of all
just
time.
come for no reason. Obviously, people are going to say, well, it was because it was translated into English. The Quran is translated.
Yep.
You could go and pick up a Quran from your local library.
Pick up a Quran from the local Bible store.
You could though. That's the thing. You could go and pick up a Quran right now, or you could go and read up about it online. You all have phones.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume you're watching this on a phone or a laptop. But some of you may be a Muslim, but some of you aren't, and some of you believe in God, and that's because I think the reason we believe in God, it's kind of ingrained into us that it's the most believable one because it's the true one, the true faith.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who doesn't believe in God, I'm not a Christian, I do believe Jesus existed, and I do think Christianity, I mean, I might be a bit biased because, obviously, most of my mates, not most of my mates, but all these people around me are Christians, and you have told me how good of a religion it is and stuff.
Go.
So I do think Christianity is the best religion to choose if you were to choose one.
I seen a graph the other day, and it was cross references in the Quran.
Oh,
Have you-
that's crazy.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Cross references in the Quran.
Yeah, and it was a graph that had a line, and it every cross reference it'd have a loop. Yeah, and there wasn't that many.
But in the Bible.
But in the Bible, it's you can't even see, you can't even point out a single line because it's all just merged. Because there's that many. I think we've got the most perfect book ever.
Yeah, people say the Bible's so coherent and has so many references to other places in the Bible. Even when Jesus is on the cross, he says, Father, Father, why have you forsaken me? Yeah. That is a reference to Psalm 22. And it's something they used to sing out when they felt like they were being forsaken, basically. But take that line, and there's so many Old Testament prophecies that Jesus fulfills. And it is so deep that it's so hard for a human to have wrote it all. And then for all the authors to have a coherent message over 66 books and 40 authors.
And 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And still be so intact as well.
Mm.
Just imagine how many, if there is, missing pieces of the Bible there could be. Just lost in translation pieces and stuff like that. It's so old, it's passed so far along. How is there not massive chunks of the Bible missing? Do you understand what I mean?
It's because we've kept a good scripture of it for a while now, to be fair. I don't know if you heard we talk about all the time, the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's like these like scriptures that were maintained back in. I'm not gonna, I can survive. Yeah, these like scriptures that were maintained back from, I think it was like, he was discovered, what was it, 100 AD or something, and he had all the Old Testament books like preserved to the T essentially, and that's where you get all the Old Testament from.
See,
is the Dead
so
Sea Scrolls.
Crazy. Like,
Yeah,
the fact that it's so well preserved,
written on tablets and everything. It's like,
and then it's also still so perfect. Like, talking about the references then, I'm really messing up how I'm talking today. I'm fumbling the words. But, you know, talking about the cross references then, it's like a book that's literally written about the truth. It can't be fiction.
yeah,
It's life.
And it's not even like it gets lost in translation, because it was translated. What were the original Hebrew? Was it
Hebrew, and then the New Testament was written in Greek.
in Greek? And it's not like we've went from Hebrew straight to English, because Hebrew and Greek have got like a pictographic language as well, don't they?
Yeah, so even the first 5 words in Genesis, this is what I find super interesting. In the beginning, like, I can't remember, in Hebrew basically, so they've got pictographic meanings, so they draw letters in like a weird way, instead of we just like write a letter, essentially. They draw it based upon like little images, essentially, that means something, like hieroglyphics almost.
Yeah, like these images like have like different words.
Yeah.
It's mad.
And basically the first 5 words in Genesis have the pictographic meaning of basically God sent himself down as a human, in flesh, to take the sins of the whole world and to be pierced on a cross or something.
Yeah.
And you read that as the first 5 like pictographic meanings in Hebrew in Genesis.
Yeah, in
2,000 years
Hebrew,
before.
which Jesus spoke.
It's amazing.
You
And
can't make that up.
And like they're part of the Jewish books as well, so it like confuses me why Jews don't accept Jesus as the Messiah, to be honest. Because of how many prophecies he fulfilled, how impossible it is that he did that, and then also like even like small references to Jesus in the Old Testament.
Didn't one of the prophecies of Isaiah, didn't he say that Jesus was going to get crucified?
Yeah, he said he was going to be pierced, I think, in the hands and through the side or something.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what he got pierced into the cross, obviously, and then he got the spear through his side as well. So, where his water became blood because he'd lost so much blood. And yeah, it's like just mad prophecies and stuff.
His water became blood.
No, so his blood became
water.
water. Basically, once you do it to confirm you're dead, essentially.
Yeah.
That you stick like a sword through your side, and then if water comes out, then you know you're dead, essentially. Because your blood's like all clotted and stuff.
Yeah.
You
You gone much.
become mush.
Hey, Reggie, I have a question for you. So when was the first time you started thinking about believing in God? Have you always believed in God for like?
I think I answered this before.
I think you did, yeah, because you're your mother.
Yeah.
I mean, so you've always believed in.
I've pretty much always believed in God, yeah. I mean, there's times when you're in like primary school and you go, "Oh, you believe in God?" And you're like, "No,
Yeah,
of course I don't." No, but I did.
The only reason why I bring this up though is because I've realised like more recently you're getting into that like.
Yeah, because I realised
A lot
that
more
obviously, as I've gotten older, I haven't known near enough that I should be knowing, and then also, I kind of like. I'm always seeing God, and I'm always like.
What do you mean
like,
seeing him?
When I'm praying and stuff, or like when I'm not asking for things, but praying about things and my future and stuff like that, I'm kind of like receiving what I'm praying for in a way, but then I'm kind of not giving that back, and I kind of feel like I needed to. So trying to grow my faith with him and like talk to him like he's actually my father. You know, not just some God, like some random geezer. I was talking to Ray about this on the way home. You kind of have to have a bond with him. He doesn't want you to talk to him like he's like an AI. He wants you to talk to him like he's a friend.
Yeah.
Like you have a relationship with him, not like, oh God, just talk to him like I would talk to you.
Like
And
you have
then-
a relationship with him.
Yeah, and then I'll say amen. But I kind of want to know about like the Bible. I want to know more.
You
And,
know, expand your knowledge on
doing that will also grow up my faith.
Yeah.
I started talking in slow motion.
No, I do
I'm
respect.
that
I do
cold.
respect
It's that
Christians, so
cold.
you know what I mean.
Do you want this back?
Nah, I'm good.
I do respect Christians, like, Because you count yourself as a Christian now, or?
I don't know what it is. I know I pray to Jesus.
Yeah. So okay, so all three of you have faith.
I
in
don't
God.
pray to all of the.
Saints.
I don't pray to the saints. No.
Yeah.
I do respect you all for that because it takes a lot of dedication to actually commit yourself to something, and not just anything, but to like higher power. It takes a lot of.
Well, I mean, I'll be the
Yeah,
first to admit I'm not a good
focus.
Christian.
Mm.
I'm not good at believing in my faith. I believe in my faith, but I'm not good at following it. I mean, I don't pray near enough as much as I should. I don't think any of us pray near enough as much as we should.
True.
I sin more than I should. I repent less than I should.
That's just all part of the journey, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what's good? If we all prayed as much as we should, like we would never we would only be speaking to God 24/7. Do you know what I mean? It's like this is an eternal being that we can simply just communicate to without even saying any words. He just knows what you're thinking and that.
I think it's dangerous to get to a point as well where you think that you're a good Christian, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because that's like Job thought, he was like, God, why, what are you doing to me? I've been good all my life. But he only when he saw God at the end of the book realised that he didn't actually love God. He just thought God's like life insurance almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
he's
if
just scared of going to hell.
Yeah, essentially. Like, obviously that's like the proc for a lot of Christians. Like that's what gets them into it.
Yeah.
But I feel like you've got to love the Father, and then your desires will change essentially. Because Job realised basically that he'd been following the law all his life, and he like on paper he was perfect, like as a Christian.
It was
Or
like
the-
a
as a
Pharisee
follower of God.
almost. How
Yeah.
they always tithed, how they always like looked like they were like the people you should follow.
Yeah.
But when Jesus came,
Then Jesus says, "My Father will say, depart from me, for I never knew you." Essentially,
Yeah.
Even though people have been rebuking demons in the name and they pray all the time, not even that. Like, I feel like you have to have that relationship bond with God. Essentially, I feel like I've been missing that myself as well. So I'm gonna need to start praying a bit more and reading, polishing up a little bit. You know what I mean? So
I think we all do though.
yeah.
Yeah, I think God's very forgiving in the fact that
Isn't
we're
he
not.
all forgiven? Like he's.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think God's very forgiving in the fact that we're not good at believing in our faith, like following it properly. We're all really bad at it, but you know, He doesn't just banish us and not answer our prayers. Like, I feel I've had my prayers answered before.
Yeah. I have to.
Have you, Ray?
pardon.
Feel like you've had your prayers ever answered?
Yeah, but most of the prayers I ask for, I don't receive. It's only the ones that I truly need,
You need, yeah.
which I don't even know I need.
Yeah.
Like if I pray for something that's quite vague, God knows exactly what it is.
Yeah, God knows.
But I can't like figure out what I want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes God will just send a friend or, you know, teach you a lesson. Like, people ask for money and stuff like that, or like, you know, to be strong, and God will hurt them.
Yeah.
God will do something to try and strengthen them, or whatever. And
And then you get annoyed when.
people kind of be like, oh, why have you done this, God? Well, you kind of asked for it. You know, you said, God, give me strength, and God tried giving you strength, and you wasn't
Give you
strong enough.
strength by making you weaker, something you can build yourself up again to be stronger.
Kind of, yeah. Not by like making you weaker, by seeing how you fight,
Yeah.
by seeing how strong you are after combating something.
Yeah. Is it true though? You should never look for signs as well. Isn't that something that
I
it
mean,
says
you
in the
shouldn't
Bible?
test God, I think.
Yeah,
it
it
says.
says Jesus, when he's basically in the desert, he quotes some of the Old Testament. Basically says, "Do not test the Lord your God." So basically, the devil's like, "Jump off this, and then we'll see if you're really God, and the angels will come protect you." But then Jesus says, "Do not test like the Lord your God, for he's not needed to be tested." Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that one time, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast before. The mad sign that I had. I thought to myself, if I find a 4-leaf clover on the floor, then God is real. And then 5 seconds later, I look on the floor and there's a 4-leaf clover right below my feet. And I don't know if that was looking for a sign.
I mean, yeah.
Is that something that I shouldn't have done? But you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I've obviously heard don't test God and stuff and like that, and I sometimes forget it. Sometimes I ask for a sign that God exists
I've
or
done
whatever.
it loads of times, mate,
And,
and
you
sometimes
know,
they've been answered. Like,
As a Christian, I was walking home the other day, and I usually do this on a Sunday when I'm walking home, just coming from the gym or something, and it's night, it's peaceful, and I've kind of just got my own space for a good 10 minutes, I'll kind of just say a prayer in my head while I'm walking home. And I asked for a sign. I was asking if I was on the right path. Now, you know, if you have an Apple Watch, every like 5 or 10 minutes you get the notification to say that you're doing an activity.
Yeah.
That it lets you know, are you walking? Like, are you doing an activity right now?
Yeah.
It asks that every 5 or 10 minutes. Now, I asked it when I was around about here. Then it only asks really every 5 or 10 minutes. I finished the prayer and about 2 seconds later I was at the bench. It said, you're going on the right path. Instead of saying, are you doing an activity? And I was like, that's kind of crazy.
That's kind of crazy, yeah.
Like, my Apple Watch said I'm going on the right path. That's not asking me if I'm on a
Actually
jog.
said on the screen, you're going on the right path.
It said something similar along the lines of, you're going the right way or you're going on the right path.
That's pretty
And I kind of thought, you know, how can I believe that it's not true when there's something like that happening on my watch?
Yeah.
A lot of people just write that off as like coincidence.
Obviously, it could be, but you know, these things have happened a lot of times now.
Yeah.
Like, I walk past a light and it flickers if I say, do you exist? Like, things like that happen.
Like, it's just, yeah, it's
That's
mad.
crazy. So I feel like I don't know. I don't really ask for signs. I don't really get signs a lot of the time. But I feel like that's because I know that God's real. Like,
already exist.
I have like
persuading you.
yeah.
But that light keeps flickering over there.
But yeah, so I don't really like ask for signs very often, unless I'm feeling like really like weak in faith and stuff.
What time were you?
But then I just go back to the Bible.
We had, like, last time I checked, it was like 27 minutes left. So I reckon we have like 10 minutes.
Do you want to go check?
Like,
Yeah, good Reg. Kid needs a jog, doesn't he?
Just a warm up.
Oh, you can see the breath.
Yeah, I'll wrap up in a minute, innit?
Yeah. Need a banger question to end off with. 57. Oh, we've got like 6 minutes then.
6 minutes left.
Me neither, to be fair. I don't say that long usually.
80% through and then it's off. Retention's decent.
Yeah, it's not bad to be fair.
Oh, so what we're going to talk about next episode then? What do you think?
I'm not on next episode.
Yeah.
Wish you was though, to be fair.
I'm happy to be on loads. I don't mind.
Yeah, I think it's abortion next time. So
Loads of people
crazy
have wanted
episode.
abortion. Loads of people have suggested it. It is a very interesting topic.
And this kid was absolutely popping off last time, to be fair. But
I know, yeah.
obviously the episode didn't go live, so.
Glazed on it. So.
Talking about signs, do you think that was a sign that you shouldn't have uploaded the episode?
I did.
Like,
I prayed about that episode. I was like, God, if you don't want me to release this, make something go wrong, essentially.
Oh wait, so did I do something? Did I say something bad in that episode then?
Well, what I was like, if I didn't protect, if obviously I think abortion's wrong, yeah, and the Bible would kind of agree with me.
Yeah.
And I said, like, I prayed to God. I was like, God, if you don't want this episode to go live, make something go wrong, essentially. Or let it be known, is what I said.
Yeah.
I think I did well enough, but if you don't think so, basically don't make the episode somehow go wrong.
Yeah. Fault it.
And then when I uploaded that was like 3 days before I uploaded the like footage to use, essentially.
yeah.
And then we figured out that the camera, like the mic, wasn't plugged in, essentially.
The
To the
audio,
camera.
the audio was just
crazy
cooked.
'cause
wasn't it?
Yeah,
They
I
were
know. They were
working,
green,
bro.
they were working and everything. And yeah, it was wild. So hopefully next time the abortion episode I'm gonna hook on.
Yeah, but
And
yeah,
we got some good guests for that.
So
So
lucky I'm not there. I'm not gonna lie.
we could do like an abortion part 2 if
Just
you want
need
it.
to
Or something.
find some clips, like try and enhance the audio or something.
We tried,
we
bro, it
probably
sounds
could
bad.
clip,
It
like
sounds
we
bad.
probably could clip farm it,
Yeah.
but the whole episode's just like unrecoverable,
Still
like the
ass.
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't think I've ever been so cold.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Do you want
This
my
is
coat again?
nah, this is an icy episode. though.
This kid, bro, acting so hard. Guaranteed the moment the camera turns off, he's taking his coat.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, I'm not.
Right, is that us for the app then?
Yeah. Thanks, I for tuning in. Thanks to Reggie as well for coming.
Thank you, Reg.
Cheers, Reggie, mate. And yeah, we'll have you on another episode in it. So
Hopefully.
yeah,
I'd love
sounds good. Let's get out of here. I'm too cold.
to.
My feet are absolutely dying. I'm not
Episode
gonna lie.
4.
Got the
I'm
mum.
getting pain in the liver.
If my mum's watching this, happy birthday.
Drinking too much.
It's a birthday today.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to say happy birthday.
Happy
Go
birthday,
visit her in
Joe.
a second.
Mal.